Hello and welcome to Towards a Better India. No Chak Day for whatsoever for our men's hockey team at the London Olympics. So sad. It's so sad that out of 12 teams which qualified for the Olympics, we actually came last. There was in fact even a playoff for the 11th and 12th position, and India played against South Africa, which again India lost 3-2. And prior to that, India lost every single group match, whether it was against the Netherlands, Belgium, Korea, Germany. It lost against all of them, and this is really so sad, and this is probably the one of the lowest points in Indian hockey. And prior to that, of course, Beijing was probably a bigger disappointment where India could not even qualify for those final list of 12 teams which compete at the Olympics. But nonetheless, this is so disappointing because after at least having qualified, having made it, one would have assumed or presumed and hoped that if not winning a medal, at least qualify, win at least a match, get at least somewhere, get somewhere and bring at least some laurels for us, but so disappointing, very very disappointing. And for a team which has actually won 8 Olympic gold medals, of course last was more than 30 years back in 1980, but since then it has been the Indian hockey team's performance has seemingly only gone downhill, and we had so many stars in our team who used to perform pretty well, and we used to consistently, if not, even after we stopped winning at the Olympics, we would compete at various events and we would win somewhere or the other. Recently there was an initiative where World Series hockey, sort of like the IPL, you would have these domestic teams, and the hope was that that would in turn generate talent, quality talent which can actually compete at an international level with the best teams in the world. You look at teams like, say, Australia, look at teams like Germany, Netherlands, they are truly competitive, and I think that's where we lost out. Our preparatory state is not good enough to compete at an international level of with when you play with teams of such caliber, because that is by itself very important. It is not just about competing per se, but it's about competing with some of the best in the world. When you're competing with, say, an average level or caliber of teams, that's you might perform well, but then if you're competing with some of the best, then you obviously need to be of that stellar level. It's like in cricket, you play against a Namibia or a Bermuda or a Canada, the way the Canadian cricket team is at its in its present scenario, versus say you play with an Australia. There's obviously a huge difference. So similarly, the South African cricket team. So there's a difference in the way in which at the levels at which you play, and that's where I think we are losing out. And also I think in terms of identifying more and more quality talent, because I'm sure it is there, like all other sports. I'm sure hockey per se, we can definitely do much better, provided that impetus is there towards identifying quality talent, giving them those those facilities, those opportunities to first come up to their own potential, and then to actually compete with the best in the world. Because often I think the first step itself, when you prepare yourself very strongly that I am going to give out my best, then after that I get around to competing with the others, wherein I can in turn ensure that yes, I'm going to put in my very very best, and I'm going to compete with all of these other teams, and I'm going to win. That spirit and that mental and physical preparatory state, I think that's what is missing. And if we can somehow bring back that golden era of Indian hockey, that would really be great. And I really hope that Rio 2016 is a completely different story as far as Indian hockey is concerned, and before that there'll definitely be many more other competitive events in Indian hockey, in hockey per se. So let's hope that our Indian hockey team performs really well. I'll end on that optimistic note. Cheers.